Welcome. This is Anjanette-Jones, and I will be discussing the book Too Big to Know by David Weinberger. Dr. David Weinberger is the author of several books, including one of our assigned readings, The Clue Train Manifesto. He mostly writes about the effect of the Internet on our ideas. His latest book, Too Big to Know, examines how the instantaneous, collaborative, social, and hyperlinked nature of information in the age of the Internet has fundamentally transformed how people acquire knowledge. Using several enlightening examples, Weinberger explores the knowledge that can be gained from unbound networks that form the Internet. Before the Internet, knowledge was sought from experts, and the structure of books shaped and filtered knowledge. But the Internet scales indefinitely, meaning with today's instant access to these immeasurable amounts of data, any person, amateur or expert, is able to explore new possibilities and new solutions to any issue. Upon a cursory glance at the content of this book, readers might fear Weinberger is predicting the end of printed books, and by extension the end of libraries. While he does advocate that libraries and other organizations need to rethink knowledge as infrastructure, in my opinion, there's more encouragement and excitement amongst his pages than doom. Use of the Internet's great network of knowledge has driven a paradigm shift from the need to nail down conclusions and form truths to the sharing of vast quantities of information which can be used as research for anyone without regard to point of view or purpose. Weinberger calls this the great unnailing, and you can see what he means through the listed examples, such as the Human Genome Project to sequence our DNA, data.gov to provide access and transparency to government data, Google Books with over 25 million digitized books, the release of economic data from the World Bank, and the attempt to catalog Earth's species. This transition from expertise modeled on books to expertise modeled on networks is uncomfortable, especially now as we live through the messy transition. In his article, Do We Need Libraries?, Steve Denning points out that libraries are facing inescapable disruption on a scale not seen before. And as Weinberger states, networked knowledge is less certain but more human, less settled but more transparent, less reliable but more inclusive, less consistent but far richer. As Brian Matthews states in Think Like a Startup, with or without us, the nature of information, knowledge creation, and content sharing is going to evolve. I vote with us. So what can we learn from this book? Let's start by flattening libraries' hierarchical organizations. As Steve Denning states, in the creative economy, the management ideology is horizontal. The leadership required in this new world is not provided by one individual. It is distributed throughout the team and determined by the group and their ability to stay motivated, create new ways to solve problems, and undertake change as needed. Weinberger says, hierarchical organizations that rest the pointy end of the pyramid on the back of a single human being are not as resilient as organizations that distribute leadership throughout a connected network. Next, diversity is important too. The best problem solvers tend to be similar. Therefore, a collection of the best problem solvers performs little better than any one of them individually. A collection of random but intelligent problem solvers tends to be diverse. This diversity allows them to be collectively better. Let's empower our community. Aaron Schmidt suggests that when we examine new initiatives, we need to think more about our communities. Let's empower our communities by promoting this important message. The Internet is of us, by us, and for us. We can do this by teaching everyone. If we want to move this new networked knowledge forward, we need to teach children from an early age and teach those who have learned differently how to effectively use the Internet, how to evaluate claims of truth, and how to love this change from the old paradigm to the new. Knowledge should be valued and engaged in its new shape. This doesn't necessarily mean using traditional methods of teaching, only that we show how knowledge can be accessible, wide, boundary-free. You're not required to be an expert to use it. and unsettled. A great way we can do this is to promote crowdsourcing. The Library Concept Center doc explains that people need to be guided in their quest for information. Why not involve your audience in what you're developing? Develop in open. People might help. While we should promote the benefits, we also need to be aware of some of its downfalls. For example, the echo chamber. As Weinberger describes, many people are mostly hearing more and louder echoes of their own voices, because the internet so increases the range of choices the citizens can find narrowly focused groups that precisely mirror their point of view. So let's be a part of the transformation. Libraries have special skills needed to make access to network knowledge faster and more advantageous. Weinberger explains, a new standard called linked data is making it easier to make the facts presented on one site useful to other sites in unanticipated ways, enabling an ad hoc worldwide data commons. In addition, metadata, the information about the information, is more important than ever. A net richer in metadata is richer in more usable and useful knowledge. In conclusion, as our professor describes in his article, The Hyperlinked School Library, this may be a challenging time to be a librarian, but it is also an exciting time. Let us choose to make a difference and impact the lives of those who use our libraries. I've already touched on some of these, but I'll list what Weinberger suggests. Let's open up access, provide hooks such as metadata so information can be reused, link everything, leave no institution behind, and teach everyone. Thank you.